Thank you so much for making the time to come to this workshop. I promise you, this is going to be so worth your time. Your mind is going to get blown when I share you everything about curriculum design, but not in the sense of, oh, let's just create like a really good curriculum. What most of you don't realize is curriculum design is one of the key things to create an incredibly high level of trust in your business. Because when you're able to teach what you want to teach, when you're able to give your students the transformation that you want to give them, especially after they've paid you good dollars, their hard earned dollars, and they're trusting you to give them the specific transformation, it can go either two ways, right? Either they join your course, they're really excited, they've paid you the dollars. At the same time, they're also having maybe a little bit of buyer's regret. And then they open up your course and they're face slammed with a ton of information, lots of confusion. And I'm telling you, a lot of the times when people join new courses, even free workshops or things like that, they run around with chickens, like chickens with their heads cut off. Already they're coming with a lot of overwhelming confusion. Once they're done paying you, how you lead them into the transformation and how you give them the results that they're looking for, these people will come back over and over and over again, and they will trust you to lead and guide them no matter what you sell. And to just demonstrate this as a proof, there are a few people here who also used to be my watercolor students. My students in Skillshare classes and everything, or in my membership, and they come back because they trust me for it. And I'm just so honored that they put that level of trust in me. All right. So, welcome to this workshop. All right. I see a few people have joined. Thank you, Swati and Preeti, for your lovely wishes. Look at this. I have my citizenship pin and I'm delivering this workshop. Like, as a Canadian citizen, you're getting a fresh, minted Canadian citizen sitting here and a living proof of what can happen for you if you commit to your business, really serve your people, learn how to serve them well with good curriculum design. Look at what can be possible. Okay, so let's dive right in. I do not want to waste your time anymore, so I'm going to share my screen. All right, my loves, welcome to the Craft Your Course Curriculum Workshop. In this workshop, I'm going to show you how to design your art course experience that your students actually complete. They get the results that they want, and then they go and recommend it to all of their friends, asking them to join your courses. Okay, so let's dive right in. By the end of this workshop, you're going to walk away with a simple curriculum structure that helps students build confidence without overwhelming them. You will also know the difference between a bloated, info-heavy course, which, let me tell you, a lot of the courses on the market are like that these days, versus a course that your students actually complete, enjoy, and recommend to everybody. And you will also have a much clearer idea on what to teach first, how deep to go within your course container, and how your course itself fits into your long-term art business vision. All right. Now, get the best results if you do the tiny exercises and prompts that I'm giving you in this workshop. So I hope you've got your Moleskine notebooks, whatever notebooks you love using, bust them open, have your pens ready, and whatever ideas come to you, let them flow as a stream of consciousness. This workshop, like when you're answering all of these things, yes, you need to edit your course curriculum for sure, but now is not the time to do it. Now is the time to just let it all flow. Then tomorrow, when you get the workbook, as long as well as the replay, then go into the workbook and then start filling things in, and then you start editing everything. All right. Yeah, fill in the easy peasy, non-overwhelming workbook. And on June 2nd at 10 a.m. MT, same time as we began today, I'm doing a live coaching session, which is also free. It's a part of this free workshop experience, the live experience that I'm doing. If you're watching the replay, I don't know, a few months later, then obviously, I don't think this live coaching session is going to be there. So those of you who are, enrolled in this first round, you're lucky because you get to bring all of your course curriculum any question you have basically about your art courses, how to sell, how to market, anything, bring them to this session and you get personalized feedback from me on your course topic and your unique art business. Okay. Couple other things that I want to share is when I'm prompting you something, like kind of be in the chat, be in the energy, share your thoughts, help each other out, because this community learning is where you actually grow so much and you will see perspectives and ideas that you've never thought of before. And another thing I want to say is that we all sign up for workshops, whether you're watching this live or replay. I mean, we get all these workshops and then we have a million other tabs open. We get distracted by them, maybe start scrolling reels. I know it's very tempting, but for now, close everything off. Just take a few deep breaths and just ground yourself here in the present moment, because the prompts that I'm going to give you, the things that are going to come flowing, you're just going to get the work done. And that's why we're all here, right? That's why we're taking this time. So let's get some work done, cut out all of the distractions, and be present here with me. It'll be worth it. All right. So, why should you even listen to me about curriculum design? Good question. And you should be asking this discerning question anytime you go to someone else's info stuff and you're discerning, should I even apply this, take this and apply this to my business? Well, first things first, I have generated over $850,000 in revenue through online art teaching. I have more than 48,000 students worldwide, and that to me just blows my mind. And this number, it just, this is what makes me never want to take this for granted and show up to serve all these people, because these many people have put their trust in me. I used to formerly be a top teacher on Skillshare. I have more than 26,600 odd students on there with rave reviews. So you can always go back and check my classes and look at the reviews and see what the students are saying. I have more than 55% repeat student rate across teaching offers. Now, I have a suspicion that it's actually higher than that, but I tend to give you like a more conservative number instead of throwing whatever bullshit numbers like other people do in their online content. But it is so interesting to me that all these people come back again and again and again, no matter what I sell. Even the people who have taken my watercolor classes come back and enroll in my holistic manifestation course, which is not even my main offering. I don't promote it all the time, and they still come back, right? And like the most amazing thing is literally just yesterday. And as you might probably be knowing, I was born in India. I started my full-time artist journey there, but I'm like, teaching online courses, having this beautiful online business allowed me to move countries, allowed me to move to Canada with my business, have my beautiful husband and my as my business partner, and we're working on this together hand in hand. And it allowed us to become a Canadian citizen just yesterday. This is a picture from a ceremony. And it's just incredible to me that this art business, online art teaching, has helped us build this life. And this is the sustainable business that supports my slow creative life in the Rockies, where I go plein air painting and meet with other artists and do all sorts of cool things and also travel around the world. Okay. So don't just trust me because of my income numbers. That should not be the only reason you should want to learn from me. You should want to learn from me because of these numbers. How many students have I taught? How many come back? And what this life has made possible. All right. So basically, what I'm saying is I'm teaching what I'm teaching from theory, not from theory. I'm teaching this from lived experience. All right. Now look at what my students keep saying after my classes. Can you spot the pattern? Drop into the chat and tell me if you can spot a pattern, and let me point some things out to you. Look at what this person is saying. She took what looked like a very difficult painting and made it so easy to do in just a few simple steps. Will definitely take more of Trupti's classes, right? The organization of lessons, the clarity of instruction, actionable steps were outstanding. It's like sitting in front of Trupti and having one-on-one coaching on painting misty pine forests, right? She has a great way of explaining concepts and techniques that is easy to follow and get good results. Here, this person, amazing person, is saying that, all the steps are explained wonderfully and I'm always amazed by my own results. She provides valuable technique one can use and transfer to many other projects. right? There was nothing which can be improved. The clarity in instructions, organization of lessons, and all of it just was really good. It was perfect, they're saying. I really love the teaching methods of Trupti. She shares techniques, but she also brings you reality because not everything is perfect, and that actually makes it perfect. So, what is the pattern that you are seeing in these testimonials? I have hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands, of these testimonials for all of my art classes and courses, whether I teach them in retreats or online. What is it? So, you are saying tiny, actionable steps, making it easier to get through the course. About the process and approach are highlighted everywhere mostly, right? Breaking down into simple steps. Now, can you please like scroll down the chat over here, please? Yeah, you make it achievable, complex to simple and organized. Exactly. Breaking the art into small, repeatable steps. Yes, you nailed it. Good job, everyone. But I let me like shine a light on another pattern in these testimonials, and you will see it everywhere. The proof is in the pudding. Beautiful end result will definitely take more of through these. Okay. I've always been fascinated by these paintings, but I didn't dare to attempt them before. I'm new to watercolors. Thanks for making this experience enjoyable. I thought reflections would be weird and difficult, but I'm quite happy with how things turned out on the first try. So they're not expecting perfect results right away. They have the right expectations and they're still very, very happy with it. Um, I highly recommend her as a teacher. She has a wonderful, shining personality, blah, blah, blah. Um, and then at the end of the class, I felt like an artist with the project in my hand. Think about what it would mean like for your students, where it's you're not just showing them techniques, but you're making them feel like an artist. And isn't that why people are coming to learn from you? Because they also kind of want to be like the artist like you are. They look up to you and they themselves want to feel like an artist, which I'm sure they have not gotten permission from the rest of the world to feel like that. Perhaps their high school art teacher was very mean to them and said that you can't be an artist, right? Imagine the power of showing your people that you also are an artist, right? And over here, look, I learned a lot. Love the new ways that I learned, and I love how she constantly reminds me of enjoying painting, and that makes it so much fun. So I'm sharing all of these things with you, not to praise myself. That's not the whole point over here. The whole end goal, people, is you serve your people so well that they are getting a deep identity level of transformation with your techniques, whatever it is that you're teaching, whether you're teaching ceramics, calligraphy, watercolors, anything, right? And the whole end goal is to serve them at this deep a level. So if you ever think, the market is so saturated, everyone is teaching the same thing. There are more experienced people teaching what I already want to teach. Why would someone buy from me? They will buy from you if you give them this experience, because likely maybe the other artists are not giving them this level of like a doable achievement, like a result and an identity level of transformation, right? And this is the whole end goal. Do not get into teaching your art online if your aim is to only make money. When this is your aim, the sales and the money will automatically follow, not just in this one course, but in more courses, anything that you do in the future. And that isn't that the definition of sustainability, right? This is what makes an art business sustainable. So I'm seeing Ishwari saying here, I wanted to continue with more of your classes. Making your way remarkable is another noticeable comment from these screenshots. Yes, exactly. Okay, so drop into the chat and let me know, what is your main aim? Is your aim just to make some income with your online teaching, or is it to give people a memorable, life-changing experience through your courses? Okay, so you might be wondering, okay, Trupti, got the point. How do I do this? How do I make my art course successful like this? How do I make it a sustainable income stream? You really only just need three things in a very simple way, okay? You need an irresistible offer. This is the transformation, the big promise, the package with the price tag that people deeply want to pay for. Next, you need a transformational learning experience. This is your curriculum that helps students actually achieve that big promise, that transformation that you told them you're going to give them when they pay you. Then you need a predictable sales system. This is a launch system that basically brings in repeat students that you just know that if you just do these certain things and tweak things here and there based on the past launch data, then you're going to get students and you're going to get results. Okay, today in this workshop, we're only focusing on this piece, which is the transformational learning experience, aka your course curriculum. Are you excited? Drop into the chat and let me know. Okay. Look, even the best course idea, and I know you have an incredible course idea that can change people's lives, but it can fail if your students feel overwhelmed, right? If your lessons feel confusing, if your transformation just feels unclear, they just like have no idea exactly what they're going to get out of it, and if the learning journey itself lacks momentum, okay? And don't worry, I'm going to teach you how to fix all of these things. Now, what I want you to do is just drop into the chat and let me know, have you ever bought a course? Maybe it's an art business course, or maybe it's an art course, whatever it is, that actually you felt all these things. You felt massively overwhelmed, even though you know it's going to be useful, but just the learning itself, just going through the videos and the workbooks and this and that just felt super overwhelming. You didn't know which lesson to begin with. You didn't know, probably you weren't clear, like exactly what am I getting at the end of this course? Or you just, there was just so much information slamming in your face that you were just like, oh my God, okay, but like, when am I actually going to touch my brush to my paper? When am I actually going to touch the clay? And you had to like wait a really, really long time to get to actually feeling that momentum. Drop into the chat and let me know. Because I certainly have had these experiences in some of the courses that I've bought. All right, I'm going to break all those things apart now, but I want to tell you there's a lovely little bonus for you. I'm going to show you exactly what to include in your welcome module for world-class student onboarding, because listen, your students have just paid you certain dollar amount for your course. They've enrolled, they've bought in, they log into your course portal, or maybe they just get your course confirmation email. At that moment, most people are experiencing buyer's remorse. They're like, oh, maybe this was like, you know, a, a futile spend. Maybe I should not have spent this money. Maybe I'll ask her for a refund. They're in that mindset state a little bit. Your onboarding into your course is going to eliminate that buyer's overwhelm. It's going to double down and reaffirm to them why they have signed up, why are they here, and how their lives are going to be changed. And it is going to give them a smooth experience, and it is going to give you the most accurate and the most useful and powerful market research data, literal marketing and sales gold. All of it, you can do that in your student onboarding. And if they go through all those steps in a smooth manner, I will show you, if you stay till the end, I will show you exactly what to include in this. Then baby, you're golden. Okay, your course is going to be a massive, massive success, and they're going to rave about your courses. So stick till the end to find out what to include in your welcome module, right? Okay, so Shimona is saying, yeah, I've definitely felt a lack of momentum and it gets boring, right? Yeah, Maddie's saying, absolutely. Swati is saying, yes, I bought multiple courses. So you all have had that overwhelming experience. So let me show you how to not do that. Let's dive in. Okay, so let's start talking about your course curriculum, your transformational learning experience, right? Really, your curriculum design, again, it gets much simpler when you focus on these three things that I'm going to show you. Step one, you want to first start with your student evolution. Step two, you then want to map out your learning journey. And then step three, you want to bake in student completion, momentum, and their results all within your course curriculum. Think about tiny steps without overwhelm. Okay, now let's go through all of these steps one by one. So, your student evolution. Different kinds of evolution that you want to give your students need different teaching containers. And that's where we're first going to begin. So, this is where you start taking your notes, okay? Before you start building your lessons and your modules, I want you to ask yourself right now, what is the final transformation that you want your students to have? Write it down, drop it in the chat. I'm going to give you around 2 to 3 minutes to kind of just answer some of these questions, okay? So, really, tell me, what should your students be able to create, right? And just ask yourself, what should my students be able to understand, not just get a final result just by following and copying me and just painting along with me, but really what should they understand about the process itself, about the materials, about the philosophy of how you paint, how they can paint, or how they can create. What should my students be able to feel confident doing by themselves after this course ends? Not just with me, but by themselves. And then ask yourself, what should my students be able to achieve by the end? And by that, I don't just mean they need to have 5 paintings on this subject, or they need to have 3 hand-built pottery things. So they need to have the letters all written out in this particular calligraphy style. No. To think about a bigger identity level achievement. How do you want them to really feel? What achievements do you want them to have at the end of this course? So you're starting with the destination, and then you're going to build backwards. So I'm going to give you 2 minutes. Go ahead and drop it in the chat or start writing it out in your notebook. Also, one thing that I want to say is this is not where you edit. Okay. The whole point of this workshop is to, obviously cut down on the information and include only what is necessary, but you don't need to do that right now. You're going to do it when you get the workbook, when you start filling that. For now, let it be like a stream of consciousness thing. Let anything that is important and relevant, let it just come through you. Okay, don't stop that flow. Keep writing. I'm going to turn the timer on for 2 minutes. And if you can, if you have some time in the chat, I would love for you to at least answer the question, what is the final transformation you want your students to have? And even if you've never taught online before, and this is the first time that you're thinking of doing it, this is a worthwhile question to sit with, right? You have 1 more minute to flesh out some of the answers for these questions. All right, 15 more seconds. If you're watching this replay, then just feel free to pause as long as you need to answer these questions, but also don't spend too much time on this, right? Just be in a flow. Do this as if you're painting, but as if you're sketching and not doing a final painting. Do you know what I mean? You know the difference, right? Okay. Swati here is saying they should be able to create botanicals, flowers, leaves, buds, and other things that make these elements come together. They should be able to understand how these elements require similar skill set in terms of the basic way the brush moves. They should feel confident in creating these botanicals via brush strokes, and they should be able to achieve any artwork with botanicals. Hello, powerful course curriculum. This is incredible. Isn't it so helpful to just begin with the destination in mind? I'm loving all the answers coming in. Ishwari is saying, I want my students to feel confident on a subject that I teach in my session once they have completed the course. And I want them to understand the approach to a subject and gain the knowledge so that they can apply the same to such similar subjects and even larger compositions. Amazing, amazing, Ishwari. Maybe it'll also help you to get specific on what the subject actually is if you haven't done that already. And in order to know that, please, you guys, do market research. Literally, just DM me or email me after this workshop or hit reply to any of my emails. Ask me for my market research guide. You need to ask your people what they want to learn. Okay. Preeti is saying, I want my students to understand water flow and feel confident in their seascapes. Painting water is the most daunting task, and they should not feel that after they take my course. They should feel the transformation. Absolutely. And it is. It is it's really challenging to paint water. Doris is saying, my final transformation is I want my students to feel a sense of accomplishment, that they have learned new techniques, they will take them further along their path. I want students to feel that their efforts have been worthwhile, and I want them to feel motivated to pursue their interests. Adore that. I adore that. One tiny little thing that I would say though is just get really specific. This is really good to see the sense of accomplishment. But how do you know if you're specific enough or not? Well, you need to ask yourself this question. If a Kung Fu teacher said the same words, no, she's giggling. If a Kung Fu teacher said the same words that I have put over here, would it apply to their business? Right? And seeing from Doris's stuff, it does apply to their business, right? And to their course. So then you want to be like, okay, get specific. What exactly am I teaching? What's the art form? Thereby saying just to be happy, being expressive and creative, to overcome the fear of the blank page, not to focus on the results, and not to down talk yourself. I love that. Here is where I would say you don't need to be super specific in terms of your medium, because your specificity is already coming from getting people to just be expressive and creative, maybe as a relaxing task, maybe as people that just want to tap into some creativity, people who are like not really wanting mastery. Do you know what I mean? But they just want to focus on the process and be nicer and kinder to themselves. That is a specific result. So that's really good. Karen is saying, learning to simplify nature, paint atmosphere, and develop your artistic voice through color and interpretation. That is also really good. It could be more specific if you mention the medium and everything. Estella is saying, confident using the gel plate and empowered to experiment with the art form. Ooh, gel plate printing. I love that. I've always wondered about that, and I've always felt intimidated. Estella, so if you can convey to me that it's not actually an intimidating thing, then boom, you're going to be able to do it for your students. Good job, you guys. This is so good. I hope you're having fun. Can you just drop into the chat and let me know, does this already is it feeling good to you? Just to start from this taking this approach to your curriculum design, and are you already starting to feel clarity? What has been like a specific breakthrough that you've already had by this point by writing all of this down? Drop into the chat and let me know, and let's move on. Okay, now that you know what the final destination is, how you want your students to feel, now you choose your course container. I'm saying a course, but what I really mean is your teaching offer, right? What container do you want your art teaching to take? Do you want it to be a masterclass, a mini workshop, a mini course, a signature course, or a membership? Which of these 5 containers do you want? Obviously, I'm sure some of you are asking, what's the difference? How do I know? I get it. Don't worry. I got you, boo. I got you. I'm going to explain everything. Okay. Okay. These are the different types of education containers, right? So first, a masterclass. This is a quick insight or like an overview on one niche topic. So these masterclasses typically tend to be, I would say, like 2 hours to 3 hours long. It's just like a standalone experience, just like one video maybe. Let me give you an example. Back in 2021, when I was launching my watercolor membership, I taught a $37 masterclass called Picture to Painting. And in this masterclass, I taught people how to take any reference picture, any landscape reference picture, and turn it into an expressive watercolor painting. So I dove into things like when you take the reference picture, how do you crop it? How do you put compositional stuff inside of it? Then how do you translate the colors? How do you translate the shapes? And then how do you bring in the atmosphere and um, the mood and the light and everything into a painting? I demonstrated all of that using just one reference picture and one painting. And then I gave people homework and assignments. And this is the student completion part, the momentum part. We will discuss that. But that's an example of a masterclass, okay? Overarching overview, specific result. A mini workshop is pretty much what I am doing right now, is where you design the container to be short enough for fast implementation and momentum, okay? You don't want to go super deep into any of these things, okay? To give people specific, actionable things, just enough information that they actually understand the thing and they start implementing everything. So when you're doing a mini workshop, obviously you want to treat people as people who are already smart and they get it, but you're compressing everything into faster implementation format, okay? The third variety, the third kind is a mini course. So in a mini course, you want to focus your mini course on a specific focused outcome. Yes, you're going to have your onboarding and you're going to have your modules. You're going to have a module breakdown. You're going to have maybe assignments and things like that, but you're not teaching anything and everything, right? It is focused on one outcome. For example, I get a lot of questions from my people being, how do you paint your dramatic skies? Or how do you paint those pine trees and landscapes where light is bursting through the forest and through the trees and it's creating these beams of light? I get these questions all the time. Now, as I plan to create my upcoming course, I won't create a course. If I'm creating a mini course, I'm not going to cram in all these different kinds of landscapes because then it actually goes into the territory of a signature course. What I would create is one mini course specifically focused around teaching dramatic skies. And then I would teach whatever is needed about my approach, the materials, the value studies, anything just towards that specific outcome. And that is a mini course. All right. Then what is a signature course? This is your behemoth, like your chonky course. This is how I want to call it. Okay. This is the Satsuki of the courses. Oh my God. I just give the weirdest analogies in my teaching, but hopefully it sticks in your brain, right? This is where you give, in your signature course, you give a deep A to Z transformation. Okay. So, for example, my client, Muniza, she is a beautiful bookbinder and a lovely friend. When she worked with me, she wanted to launch her signature course called The Art of Bookbinding. Now, in this, she has literally shared every single type of bookbinding techniques, the history behind of it. It goes like a complete A to Z, sort of like an encyclopedia transformation, right? And people join this course to just basically learn everything there is to about bookbinding. And these are the people who are, even if they're beginners, they're wanting mastery and, they were wanting to launch their own bookbinding businesses and things like that. So they really wanted to learn that skill. My course, Painting Large Watercolors, also falls into the category of a signature course and a mini course as well, because there's one specific outcome of how to paint large paintings, but I am actually teaching everything there is about painting large. And you'll see more about that curriculum. I'll show all of that to you, but that would be a signature course. Then your next and your last type is a membership. This is what I used to have, where it's a monthly membership, and this is you choose this container if you want to give people ongoing practice and support. So my client, Katie White, she first launched her mini course with us about meditative watercolors. It's a really beautiful, lovely course that teaches the watercolor meditation technique itself. On the back end of that, we helped her launch her membership called Creative Pulse. And this is a membership where, once people learn that skill on how to do watercolor meditation, They actually really enjoy her live presence and they love her voice and they want to be a part of this like monthly meditation practice. And you can see it's an ongoing need, right? People who want to meditate, they want to meditate presumably all the time. So her membership gives them that ongoing practice where they meet with her live every month, which is so beautiful and simple, and they get that support that they want from her month on month. So these are your 5 containers. So drop into the chat and let me know for your course idea, what are you really most thinking of? And if you have any questions about the different types of course containers, just drop them in the chat. I will get to them. If there's some time left, I'll get them towards the end of this session. Otherwise, I will bring some of these questions. I'll, screenshot them. I'll address them in the live coaching session where you can watch the answers. Or if you're watching a replay of this, right, maybe a couple of months from now, I don't know when you're going to be watching this. If you have a question, literally just drop into my Instagram DMs or email me and go and ask me your questions and I will answer them. Okay. What you do want to remember is you do not want to overbuild the content inside of the container. Now that you know how big or small it needs to be, are you starting to get a feel of how deep you need to go inside of each of these containers, right? Let me know if you're starting to get clarity on this. Okay, Preeti is saying masterclass, Karen is saying masterclass or signature course. Oh, interesting. Like literally two ends of a spectrum. I will say though, like in terms of the difficulty level in creating the course itself, your most difficult is going to be, but I don't want to discourage you. Obviously, it can be done. But the most challenging, I'll say, is going to be a signature course or a membership. A membership, obviously, because it's an ongoing thing. It's like a train that just keeps running without a break. And you just got to be there supporting your people month on month on month. And you have to come up with new classes and new content and all of that stuff. And a signature course, obviously, you need to put all of the information that you know. It just takes time to film these courses, go through filming all the modules and arranging them. So it's just a matter of time investment and energy investment. Not that it's difficult in that, oh, you're incapable of doing it. You absolutely can. If your gut says that this is a signature course, I know that my students are wanting this, then go for it, right? I'm not saying that it's not doable. It's just that you're going to need more time and energy investment. Okay. All right. Okay, I'm seeing some questions coming. I love these questions. You guys, please keep dropping in your questions. Literally, there are no stupid questions, okay? If you need help choosing in between these two formats as well, definitely drop in another question and come to the live coaching call and ask me, give me some nuance because I'm going to ask you some follow-up questions and I'll help you out. All right, let's move on. How do you know what belongs in the curriculum now that you've chosen the container? I want you to ask yourself, does this directly support the specific student evolution that I said I want to give them? Does the student need this now or do they need it later? Even in the flow of your curriculum, right? If they need to know value studies, for example, and I'm only giving watercolor examples, obviously take this and apply it to any creative medium. But as a watercolor artist, let me give you an example. Let's say they need value studies, right? Very important part of learning how to transit reference. I'm not going to put the value studies before I walk them through the supplies and some basic foundational brush stroke exercises, things like that, because they need that first before they even come to value studies. And if I teach the value studies first, they're going to get really confused, right? So it's going to feel out of order for them, and that's what's going to create overwhelm. You also want to ask yourself when you say, do they need it now or later? Like within the course format itself, with the end transformation that you want to give them, like, do they need it now or maybe later in a course that comes after this, like an offer that comes as the next step to this? Ask yourself that. the most important question that you want to ask yourself, and this is going to blow your mind, okay? Is this foundational, intermediate, or mastery level? Now, this question, once you identify this bit, it is going to simplify your marketing like 100 times, right? So, as an example, my painting large watercolor course, it is for intermediate watercolor artists who want to go to the mastery level, right? They've already done all the courses, they know they can paint in their own style, but they're wanting to go bigger, maybe to submit their artworks to watercolor exhibitions, right? All popular competitions and exhibitions require you to paint on a 15 by 22 inches sheet. How are you going to do that? How are you going to even enter these things if you don't know how to go big with watercolors? So it's for intermediate artists. So now that I know that it's an intermediate artist skill that they're needing to learn, I know who to speak to. I know who to position my course for. I know how to craft my messaging for intermediate people, and I'm actively going to craft my messaging to repel the foundational beginner level people who have maybe they're just starting to learn about watercolor brushstrokes and stuff. I don't want these people in my course, which is bad for them, right? And even if I get sales, it's actually really bad for me and my course because they're not going to get the results and it's going to erode their trust in me. Okay. So this is going to unlock your marketing. Okay. So drop into the chat and let me know, is your course that you're thinking, and I'm going to call course for like a masterclass, workshop, whatever. I'm going to use the blanket term course for now. Is it foundational, intermediate, or mastery level? And is it already giving you clarity on how to speak to this specific group of people? Let me know. You also want to ask yourself, very important, am I teaching this because it helps the student or because I'm afraid of leaving something out? My loves, this is what I need to ask myself all the time. I asked myself this like 100 times when I was even creating the curriculum for this mini workshop to teach you this topic, okay? Because I don't know what it is in me. Maybe it's the A grade student or whatever. I just feel the need to more and more, but I really need to have learned over the last few years to ruthlessly cut things out that you do not need it right now. It's okay if I leave something out because you don't need it in this mini course format for the fast implementation that you want to do in this workshop. Just remember, more content does not automatically create more value. Okay, I am seeing your responses. Every single one of you is teaching a foundational course. Okay. So now, are you understanding how to speak to that level of people, how you need to speak to them? And really, if you're teaching foundational stuff, this is the best thing, okay? Because your past self, when you first began, when you were at the starting of your art journey, you are basically at that point, you're an ideal student. Okay. So really think back, like, what did you need to hear? What did some teachers, maybe you learned something from some teachers and they said the wrong things and it put you off and it discouraged you. What were those things that you absolutely didn't need to hear? What are the things that did help you to hear? Okay. So number one, for me, for an example, I'll tell you, when I was just a beginner watercolor, the thing that I'm most grateful for is that I never heard this popular saying that watercolor is the hardest medium of all the mediums to master. I'm just so grateful for that because every single teacher that I learned from, they made it seem doable, that I can actually do it, and they made it very, very enjoyable. And it's only when I attained a certain level of intermediate mastery, that's when I first time heard that, watercolors is considered as very, very hard. Okay. Now, this is the mistake most artists make. I want you to avoid this. All right. Deal? Deal? Tell me in the chat. Deal? Look, they start building 47 tangled lessons before even deciding what is the transformation, what is the outcome, and what is the student journey. This is how courses become overwhelming, bloated, and confusing as heck for people. All right. Step two, building a confidence building learning journey. Because great courses, like I said, are not info dumps, they're guided transformations. Now, before we jump into this, I'm seeing that Preeti said that I felt this in my first course. It started from a mini course and ended up being a full-blown signature course, lol. Yes, I'm so grateful. Preeti, you're so awesome for being vulnerable and sharing that, because I think these kind of real life examples, this is what's going to help you most, you guys. It's I've had that danger as well. Start with a small topic and create it something big. This is literally quite what happened with me in my powerful practical manifestation course. It was supposed to be a masterclass, but then I just kept thinking of more and more things that I can keep teaching these people, and I just kept on making the curriculum bigger and bigger until it became a signature course. And my God, that course took everything, like it just took all of my energy to create it. It was a massive behemoth, and I nearly burnt out trying to create it. Okay, so you want to be very, very careful. Stick to the container and only fill to that container level. All right. So, in terms of the step 2, how to build a confidence building learning journey, what to ask yourself. Okay, do not ask yourself, what should I teach now that I know my course topic? You want to ask yourself, what does my student need first? Okay, as soon as they join. Then you want to go to the question, what would help them build confidence next? Does that make sense? This is how you want to approach it. So this is a learning psychology principle called scaffolding. All right. A good curriculum first builds simplicity, then adds complexity. First, you build the foundational practices, then you guide your people to go towards more advanced stuff. First, you guide them and you have them go through the step-by-step stuff. You have them follow along and paint with you and paint the same thing. And then you encourage them into your course curriculum for independent activity. And that is what actually builds confidence. Now, there are a lot of people who kind of say that, on the sales pages, they'll say that, you're tired of following step-by-step courses that teach you only how to paint one thing. And my course is different. I'm going to teach you all of this stuff where you can paint by yourself. I'm like, cool, but why are we making this practice of having the students follow your painting step by step and recreate the same thing? Why are we making literally the greatest master Joseph's book, which this is how he taught us when I attended his workshops last month, in-person workshops in downtown Calgary, which I'm so freaking lucky that I got to learn from him and Lisa Wang. But that's how he taught us. He demoed his paintings and then he asked us to recreate the same painting. It is a powerful learning tool. So don't look down on it, is what I'm saying. It's legit. But obviously, once you do that, you want to encourage them for independent practice with assignments and homeworks and things like that. That's what actually gives them confidence, right? So your students, as they're going through your course, they need to feel, I can do this. Wow, I can do this. Instead of feeling, oh my gosh, this is so much information. This course is moving so fast. I'm already behind. Have you ever like joined an online course, especially if it has like a live element to it, where it's just felt like drinking from a fire hose, and you're just constantly feeling that you're behind and you're feeling shitty, right? Your students are already coming with a harsh inner critic. They're already feeling, not so confident about themselves. They're nervous and all of this stuff. Your job is to not double down on their inner critic talk by making them feel like I'm already behind. Your job is to make them feel I can do this, even though it's hard, even though it's frustrating, even though it's challenging, but my teacher is there and she's encouraged me and I can actually do this. Progressive confidence is what keeps people learning. Okay, drop into the chat and let me know how this is landing for you. So I want you to think, how do you go from low intensity to high confidence in your course when you're teaching them different things? Okay. Always remember, give people some quick wins before mastery. So for example, inside of my one-on-one mentorship program, Creative Course Launchpad, in that, the first quick win I give people is I help them pre-sell their course right? Their course offer, before they even start filming the course itself, before they even actually fully map out their curriculum, I help them just sell the course itself because it's so crucial for them to validate whether people actually want their course or not before they go in and put hours and hours of energy into building it, right? And they get actual students, they're super fans joining their hands, and they get real student feedback as they build out their course curriculum and they start creating the course. So what happens when this art business owner joins us to work with us? It's a lot of work. I don't want them to feel like they're just slogging and slogging and slogging and not really seeing any results. So, yes, it's important for them to validate their course idea, but it also gives them that quick win, that momentum, and that burst of energy and joy that, oh my goodness, like people are actually paying for my stuff before I even create it. People are paying me. And this is so awesome. Now I have this accountability and I have people who have trusted me. So I'm going to actually double down on this, and they just get this boost of energy and their identity transformation already begins. Literally within 60 days of working with us, they do this. So think about, for your course, how do you get that to happen? You also want to see it as a guided progress and not information overload. I think I've repeated this many times, but repetition is the mother of mastery, and you need to hear this over and over again. Also think momentum, not perfection. So give them tiny assignments. Definitely at the end of every lesson, give them action items to go and work on. Okay. I don't understand why certain people don't like homework and assignments. You might have like a little bit of a traumatic, whatever, association with those words, but homework and assignments, like, they make me excited as a school kid. They make me want to, like, go to my desk and actually do this. And they put me in a student, like a learning mode. And it's just been so effective in all of my courses. So don't shy away from this. Okay. All right. What does all of that look into action, Trupti? Like, what does this really look like within a course? Let me show you. This is this curriculum design in action inside of my painting large watercolors course. I want you to notice the modules. Okay. This is the start here. This is the welcome module, where if they follow all the steps, they'll get a smooth world-class onboarding experience. This is the bonus you're going to get at the end of this workshop. Stick around. Then there's the foundations module where I teach them, all the supplies, how to grow bigger. What is the mindset shift you need to even like start painting on a large format with watercolors, which is already a challenging medium. Okay. Then, because I really wanted to teach people how to paint on full sheets, right? A full sheet is 30 by 22 inches. That's what I really want to teach them. But I'm not going to begin with a full sheet at all, because if you are only used to painting 4 by 6 or 5 by 7 postcard style paintings, maybe you maximum only painted like, I don't know, a quarter sheet. If I take you straight up to a full sheet, if I had made this into a masterclass and only taught the full sheet, their nervous systems, my students' nervous systems, would be so shocked, because that blank paper fear is so real. Paper costs so much. Everybody comes in feeling like, oh my God, paper is so expensive. I don't really want to ruin it. Think of how awful it would feel for them if I jump straight to a full sheet. So I did progression confidence building. So they first start with a quarter sheet, and then they go to a half sheet, and then I teach them half sheet vertical, half sheet horizontal, right? And already they're getting some practice over here in that format. Then they go to a full sheet, and then they go to like a little bit of a bigger full sheet on my blue pine arts paper, which is like 36 by 26 inches, I think. Yeah, that's how big it is, I think. So like super big, right? And again, this is horizontal format, like a landscape format, and this is a vertical format. And by doing this repetition over and over again, they're actually building confidence to a full sheet. Okay. The other thing that I want you to notice is I've kept that interest alive. They're trying misty pines, they're trying northern lights, dramatic skies. So they're trying different subjects in painting something like this. So they're already kind of using, just two colors. They start by painting with just two colors over here. and then they just use maybe 3 to 4 colors. Here they're using even more colors, back to using only 2 colors, and then again more colors. So I'm flexing, I'm helping them flex their color mixing abilities and everything. So you see how I have like built in all those things that I shared with you. I've baked everything into my course. Okay. And then, of course, like within my course community itself, it says click here to share your paintings and all of this stuff. So there are calls to action and everything. All right. Actually, you know what? Let me just pause with that. Nosh, what is this yellow line over here?
Some art over there.
It's coming on all of the slides. Look. Did you just do like a little markup or something? I don't know what. Look, there's like a little pen there. Yeah, I think that's what happened. Use the eraser. Okay, no idea what's going on, you guys. We're just gonna go ahead with this, okay? There's some abstract art with that yellow line going on through my courses. But drop into the chat and let me know, how are you feeling so far? How are you feeling with everything that you're learning so far about curriculum design? Does it feel like you're starting to understand things differently? Does it feel like you finally are starting to get some clarity on how best to serve your students? Okay, Doris is saying it makes sense. Um, the yellow line and the art discussion. I love this. Okay. What has been your biggest breakthrough so far into this workshop? Let me know. So Maggie is saying you make everything so easy to understand and not overwhelming. This is meta, people. Thank you so much, Maggie, for this. I'm literally demonstrating to you exactly what I'm teaching you right here, right now. You're seeing and feeling the effects of it, okay? That's how solid this workshop is that I'm teaching you. I told you I would give you $500 worth of value in this, and I hope I am doing good on my word, okay? All right, let's move on. Preeti is saying, I'm feeling more confident in my course curriculum. Looks like I was going the right direction. I got validated. Like, this is literally such a good outcome of this workshop. Preeti, I love that for you. You are a smart cookie. I've always known that about you. So I just love that you have been inculcating all these things. Now let's see what other stuff you've already gotten right, okay? Look, you guys, when you're structuring lessons, do it so that your students feel competence, okay? Because there is this very famous saying. Have you heard of this saying? Confidence comes from competence. Confidence does not come before action. It comes after action, but not any whatever action that just keeps people sort of swirling in the same place. Confidence comes from competence. So you want your students to actually feel, oh, wow, I'm actually improving. And this is going to come from those quick wins that you're going to put right at the beginning of your curriculum design. You want your students to feel progress. You want them to say, oh, wow, I did something today. My favorite part is when my clients, my artist clients join to work with me, Creative Course Launchpad. Like literally the first ever battle plan call, they get their month-to-month roadmap and they start building out their email list or their courses, and they just book a tech call with Nahosh and set up like one piece of a missing software or a missing system in their business. And boom, literally immediately they're like, holy crap, like my email platform had not been set up this whole time. And just with one call with Nahosh, it just got done. That's it. Like I did this thing today, right? They start doing their market research and they get students like responding and they're like, I actually did something. Even in my painting large watercolors course, when they go through the color mixing part or the first quarter sheet painting, they come and they so proudly share that, look, I made this painting today, right? And that's like this beaming pride that you want your students to feel at every stage, not midway through your course or towards the end. Nope. Okay. Then you also want them to feel safety right from the very beginning. You want them to feel that I can do this. And I'm going to give you a secret. Okay. This is the biggest secret. I could charge like $300 just for giving you this one thing. So take it, please take it to heart. You will make students feel safe because they're going to come in, they're going to try new things. It is going to be challenging for them. We cannot eliminate that part. When I'm teaching you curriculum design, I do not mean dumb your things down and remove all challenges for them. It should feel challenging. Learning is challenging, and we should not like go soft on our students. That would actually be in disservice of them, I think. Okay. But you will make them feel safe by actually acknowledging that this is not easy. And it is so amazing to me that Joseph Zbukvich, like one of the greatest watercolorists alive, this dude has been painting for 50 years. He is a literal veteran, right? It's like learning from Van Gogh or Monet or something. And every single time in the workshops, he kept saying, watercolors is not easy, you guys. It's bloody hard. In his amazing Australian accent, he would be like, it's bloody hard. Um, and seeing the greatest artists also affirm that this stuff is not easy, it's actually challenging, that makes your students' nervous system sigh a breath of relief. If something is challenging, name it, validate it for them, please. Because the worst thing that you can do is, and many of you are teaching a foundational course, is to have these beginners come in and then you're like, it's easy, you guys. If I can do this, you can do this too. I mean, of course, you want to also say that. Understand the nuance, okay? You also want to affirm it to them that it is bloody hard where it is hard, okay? But you're going to say, but I'm holding your hand. All you want to do is breathe deep and you can do this. You can do this. So you want to have those encouraging words going throughout your course. Within my painting large watercolors course, I know how terrifying it can be to go big. I still remember when I first painted like a huge sheet in my plein air retreat with my teacher Sergey Kurbato. I was just sat there doing my plein air painting and I was just frozen. I'm like, I don't know. I don't think I can do this. I don't think I can put my brush to the paper. And then Sergey came and in his Russian accent, he was like, Trupti, you must begin now. And there was something so soothing about his voice that it gave me the courage to actually start and make that painting. Okay. In my painting large watercolors course, as I was saying, I literally teach my students breathing technique and nervous system regulation tools and I walk them through it. I'm like, okay, here we are, huge, big sheet. Put your hand over your heart, and I want you to breathe in this particular way, or I want you to imagine that particular thing. And I give them these anxiety relieving little tools, and then they dive into it. Why do I do this? Because I need this as well. Even as an experienced artist, I still need to regulate my nervous system and be like, it's okay, you're allowed to make mistakes. I was saying this in Joseph Zbukvich's workshop. I was like, you're allowed to screw up, okay? The only way you can learn is through mistakes. It's okay. At the end of the day, it's just some paint and paper. And I've said this in my classes. If you've ever taken my watercolor classes, I've told you this. It's just paint and paper, you guys, at the end of the day. It's not a big deal. And I was so shocked to see Joseph say the literal exact words in his class. It's just paints and paper, you guys, right? This is how you do it. Look, confused students quit. They will not go through your course. And I mean, let's be honest, how many times have we bought courses and they're just sort of collecting digital dust there, right? So it's so easy to pay for something and quit. People don't mind doing that, but I don't think it's doing you or your people any good if your students quit. But your confident students will continue to go on and achieve amazing things in their art practice in their lives. Okay. If any of you have experienced this through my watercolor teaching, if you've ever taken any of my classes, can you please drop into the chat and share your honest experience? Like, did you feel all these three things? Did you feel confident to continue on in your journey? Even if, like, once you were done with my course, even if you didn't pay me another dollar, did you feel that? Please share that with me, okay? All right. How do you do that? How do you build all these three things? I accidentally discovered this learning psychology principle when I was first teaching my first ever watercolor summit class. It's called chunking. So the earlier one that I taught you was scaffolding. This is called chunking. So you want to chunk down the exact learning because your students' brain capacity has limits. And if you're teaching adults, you know the times that we live in right now, it is literally so exhausting, so much demands of our brain on our brain capacity on a daily basis. They're coming to you with a small margin of their brain capacity. Your job, instead of giving them giant, complicated lessons all in one go, okay, you want to create short, focused lessons, one clear goal at a time. I cannot stress how important it is to give them time to practice between different concepts. Okay, this is where your assignments are going to come in. And you want to give breathing room for implementation. Okay, when I took my mentor Stu McLaren's course called Tribe, which helped me create and launch my membership back in 2020, something that I really appreciated because it was a live implementation course. You're doing the work, right? And there were so many lessons to go through. There were so many things I had to implement on the back end to be able to launch my membership. But he gave us like 1 week gaps twice in the course just so we can just implement. Because let's just be really real over here. We're all very busy adults with jobs, with businesses and everything, and it's going to take time. Like, look at what I'm doing even in this workshop. In this live version, it's going to be different if you're watching a replay, you're just getting everything in one go. But the live coaching is on June 2nd at 10 a.m. I'm teaching this workshop today on May 28th. I'm giving you a whole weekend plus a Monday to go through the workbook, to actually sit and let all these ideas marinate. Because how are you going to ask me good, intelligent questions if I don't even give you some breathing room to implement this shit, right? Even with my one-on-one clients, yes, they get their one-on-one calls with me and everything, and they get their homework, but there is a 15-day, almost like a 20-day gap between each of my calls where they're implementing something. And in this gap, they book a call with Nahosh if they want some tech to be implemented and some tech system to be built out or some automation to be built out. And they're getting that time to actually go do the work instead of me just sort of compressing everything in a small time and just hammering at them with more and more info, right? So short bursts of clarity is what creates momentum. All right. Before we go into step 3, how are we feeling right now? We covered 2 steps. I shared a lot of different things, but hopefully I've shared it in a way where it's like building like layers of painting on top of each other, right? This is my favorite part. When I teach something, I'm like, is it like a painting layer where there's a base layer, then the second layer, like when you paint with watercolors, it builds on top of each other. And then it just keeps getting more and more cohesive as an artwork. You're an artist. You're so brilliant at curriculum design. I'm telling you, you have natural skills in doing all of this stuff. You are naturally inclined actually to be very, very successful in your business if you start believing that. Okay. Even though it's challenging, okay, but it's so much easier to teach and sell an art course or, a painting, teaching, calligraphy course than it is like a business course and things like that. Do you believe me on this? Do you believe me? Drop into the chat and let me know. Okay, I'm just checking the chat here. Shimona is saying, I'll have to sit with this and journal to get more clarity, but definitely got the wheels turning. That was my intention for today. I love that. I love that. And you will 100% get more clarity when you go through the workbook. I'm telling you. Maggie's like, it's literally changed my life. Tina is saying, yes, I can see it now. And she's saying, I love Trupti talked about nervous system regulation. I think most people don't talk about that. They don't. I mean, it's all over social media now. It's just become like such a trendy as fuck topic. Um, Definitely, like literally, I feel like people talk about it in the free content. They'll talk about it on social media and stuff on the podcast, but they won't bake it into their course. And I'm like, why? Why? Why aren't you actually helping me implement nervous system regulation? But the guy is like, my mind is buzzing with possibilities. I love it. I hope you're noting everything down. Okay, just make scribbles, notes, whatever. Swati is saying it's believable, and I can actually see a couple of potholes that I definitely would have hit. Love that. Okay. I love it. Okay, let's go through step 3, where we are going to now design your course curriculum for completion and results. Now, this is the thing that most people don't know. Okay, your student results and stories are your strongest marketing assets. Please drop into the chat and say the word got it. Just say, I got it, I get it. And I'm like, once it really sinks into your mind, okay? Most people, like when artists start, teaching and selling courses, they're only focused on creating content and the marketing, and they're focusing on bringing new people into the doors. Whereas I am like, your most important people are the people who are already inside of your doors, and their students, their results and stories is going to blow up your marketing. Okay, it is going to create an irreplaceable trust factor, especially in this trust recession society and economy that we're in right now, and we continue to keep heading in. All right, I'm seeing a lot of got it, got it, got it. Amazing, love that. Okay, so how do we do this? How do we get amazing student results? So your students, you will obviously get their stories and results when they actually complete it, and they're more likely to finish your course, or at least go through like specific modules of your course and finish that one particular module and get the result when they have accountability. Okay, now a lot of my clients prefer to have pre-recorded courses. That's fine, but what I tell them is, even if you have a pre-recorded course, consider running it live. Consider getting people to actually show up and implement the thing and give them that accountability that they're looking for. Because let me tell you something, people can get all of the information that you're going to put in your course. People can literally get it for free on YouTube, or maybe for like very, very cheap on Patreon memberships and Skillshare classes that they've all just bought. They've bought all these low ticket products, but because it's low ticket and it's just sort of like pre-recorded, self-paced, do it whenever you want, they're not going to do it whenever they want. And why do I know that? It's because you and me, we're the same people as our students. Okay, we've done this. We've bought shit and we've never implemented it. We've never logged in and watched it. Or maybe we started and we just kind of gave up because there was no accountability. So the only way to stand out from this chat GPT and AI generated massive dumps of info, massive amounts of freebies and resources that are going on, and YouTube info and all of this stuff, is to give that accountability that none of these self-paced, low-ticket offers are really giving. Okay, they're also likely to finish when they have genuine encouragement. This factor, where the encouragement factor is like the number one biggest factor that students have actually finished and come back for more. Because at the end of every class, even when I've taught Skillshare classes and when I'm teaching just one project, at the end of every class, I would have a section called pep talk. And I would sort of like give them encouraging moments. I would show them just like really vulnerable, real behind the scenes. I taught this one class, and then I taught people that, look, I myself make artist grade tools and I love using high grade, handmade paints and beautiful, excellent brushes and paper. But look at my backing board. This is just like a piece of plywood that I found at like a random construction site. My table is not like the most glamorous table. My hands are all stained. I don't have beautiful manicured nails or anything, but this is what real life practice looks like to me. And so if you don't have like the perfect setup, don't let it stop yourself from painting. Rave reviews, right? People are like, damn, dude, she actually gets me. She actually gets what it means like to be like a real person without flashy personal branding or whatever, and what it is to have a creative practice. And they come back. You also want to have some feedback moments, whether you do it live or whether you do it like in a pre-recorded way where you collect questions and then you give the answers, but have feedback moments. I have feedback moments built into this workshop where I'm literally telling you, hit reply to my email, drop into my DMs and ask me a question, or come to the live coaching session, because I'm gonna give you personalized feedback, because every artist and their business is different. So yeah, just like the one course or like one thing is not going to apply to everybody in the exact same way, right? Next, Community. Oh my gosh. Communal learning together is the fastest way that people learn. Instead of just sort of sitting isolated by themselves, trying to figure everything out by themselves. So people are looking for community. 2026 onwards, I'm predicting that communities are making a big comeback, exactly like they did post-pandemic. Okay. So in real life communities, online communities, people are looking for this. So definitely create a cozy, lovely space without any judgment. People should feel like they can share something and they can even ask quote unquote dumb questions. Um, and they should just feel safe. All right, have progress checkpoints built into your course. So inside of my painting large watercolors course, progress checkpoints are very simple. They make a quarter sheet painting, boom, you already went big. That's amazing. There are like celebration moments as well, right? The next point. So I celebrate people. Then I say your next step is to submit your thing in the community, share your breakthroughs, and then start the next lesson. So all these things, they're like being guided step by step towards the progress. You also want to give them support during the messy middle by acknowledging things are hard, things are messy. It's going to take some time before you get better. Like Nahush is teaching me tennis. It's the most hilarious thing. If you want to see at my absolute most uncoordinated, embarrassing, awkward moments, you should see me play tennis. But he makes me feel seen because he's like, this is how it is, Trupti. Everybody learns like this. Everybody is awkward. It's going to take you a long time for you to actually get the whole swing of forehand and the follow through and everything. And because of his support, I'm like, okay, all right, I can expect this to be messy. It's normal for this to be messy. It's normal for me to be awkward. And I can still keep going. And one day, hopefully, maybe 3 years down the line, once that marriage has gone through this test of tennis, I can be like a graceful gazelle hitting forehand. But I'm gonna keep going because he makes it feel normal for me to mess up. Okay. Okay. Now, beginner versus advanced curriculum, right? Even if you're creating a foundational course, you might be wondering, how advanced should I take it? How deep should this go? So I'm going to illustrate to you what beginner students need and what advanced students need. Your beginner students, they need more structure, think very, very step-by-step guidance, right? They need reassurance. Every single step they need reassurance. So keep telling them that they're doing a good job. Keep telling them that if you mess up over here, it's totally fine. I actually recently taught another like a rave reviewed class called Intuitive Watercolor Landscapes in Sketchbook Revival. So in that, I'm teaching people how to use free play of water to create beautiful landscapes. And there is a time when I ask them to just drop a ton of paint in the water and swish it around. I know they're going to be terrified because I used to get terrified like that. So I kept telling them that you guys, no matter how messy it gets, no matter whatever you think, if it looks ugly at this stage, I'm telling you, you're still going to end up with a beautiful painting at the end of this class. You literally cannot get this wrong. It's going to end up looking great. So because I keep telling them that, they move through those terrifying moments. They expand their capacity to sit with the discomfort of learning. Okay. And of course, they get quick wins. We've spoken already about quick wins. All right. What do your advanced students need? Your advanced students are actually looking for refinement. They're looking for you to speak to them at their level. Okay. Don't try to dumb everything down too much for them. Don't try to over structure everything. They've already done that step-by-step stuff. They've progressed. All right. They're now looking for creative freedom. They're looking for you to lead them. Yes, from a technical skill level, but also more from like a mindset and identity level. They're looking for you to honestly just give them permission that you can do this. You're not dumb and you've already come till this far. You have a good foundation. You can do this. They're also looking for more feedback, right? Beginner students, yes, you can choose to give them feedback, but advanced people need more specific feedback. For example, my creative course Launchpad clients, they've already come to me already having invested in generic business courses. They've taken some courses, low ticket this, that, they've not implemented it. And they literally don't know, okay, how do I apply it to my business though? Because I teach knitting and I teach crocheting. I teach pottery, which is so different than painting. So how do I take that strategy and apply it over here? I cannot give them blanket strategies because I've already gotten blanket strategies. It's not working for them. These are mid-career artists. They're not total beginners. They already know a little bit, at least, on how to run their business. They're committed. So I speak to them at that level. I speak to them at a peer-to-peer level, you know. And most importantly, they need mastery challenges. They need you to literally hold them accountable. Again, inside of CCL, my one-on-one mentorship program, I give people, many of them are so scared of going and marketing their course and literally asking for that sale. So I give them a challenge where I'm like, okay, you're going to be posting 3 posts in a week. That basically means 12 posts in a month, which is so totally doable. You can't tell me that you're committed to your business and you cannot find 12 moments of marketing on your public platform, wherever you are present and where your audience are present. So have them make I get them to make like, how many rows of hearts is it? Like 4 rows of 3 hearts, right? Three for 1 week. Yeah, like a 3 by 4 hearts. I'm not mathing. My brain is not mathing right now. This is just ADHD, you guys. Basically, like 3 hearts and 3 hearts and 3 hearts and 3 hearts. And then I have them color it in like kids, You post one piece of content, you color it in, and then they see those hearts getting filled up and they get more and more confidence and more competence to do that, right? So I set them these mastery challenges because advanced students, more than anything, they need implementation. They do not need you to give them more info. Okay. So there you have it. So if you're thinking of creating an advanced or an intermediate course, now you know how to design your course curriculum. Preeti is saying, I can vouch for this. CCL is serious business, and Trupti treated me like a businesswoman, even though I was just starting out, and she made me accountable to actually getting the work done. And Preeti did such a good job, you guys. Oh my goodness. I'm going to talk about her in a little bit. You're going to see her results. But with a full-time job, managing 2 kids and her household, she still got the work done. And that was my most favorite part about working with her. And that's what these women are looking for. They're looking for accountability, right? They're like, just hold my hand, tell me to do the thing, and I'll go do the thing. Hardworking, amazing, amazing artists like Preeti. Amazing. Okay. So just remember that different levels need different support systems. I'm going to double down on this. I'm really going to nail this in your head. Your student results are the marketing, because your students who finish your course become your testimonials. And you bet your bottom dollar, when people are looking to buy now, people have not stopped buying. Let me just tell you this. People are buying all sorts of things. People are buying designer bags. They're buying coaching. They're buying courses. They're buying everything, makeup, everything, right? But they're looking for proof. They're looking for, like, you tell me, when you sign up for something, does your final decision come after you've seen like other people get results? And that's when you kind of have this subconscious trust, right? That, oh my God, this is a risky thing that I'm going to do, but I trust this person to lead me because I can see that she has already gotten so many results for other people who are just like me. Okay. Students who feel supported during your entire course process become your repeat students, because they're going to be like, I finally found a teacher who gets me, who sees me, who doesn't talk down to me, who doesn't insult me, or like, give like backhanded compliments, or like is snarky or whatever, right? Like I've had my share of teachers who have been like really weird. I've never gone back to launch with them. Okay. Students who experience progress, they get you referrals, because they're gonna go and tell all of their friends. You bet your bottom dollar, like if there is like a creative, your ideal client, they have their friends. They're not just doing it all alone. So they have friends at a similar level, and once they get results, they're gonna go and tell their friends that you gotta go and you gotta take her course, you gotta go work with her. because look at the progress that I'm having. And people love freaking talking about their progress in an excited way, and they want to tell all their best friends about it. Your students who feel proud of themselves for the progress that they're making, even if they're messing up, they're like, I'm still making progress. They become your biggest cheerleaders. They become your super fans. They become a core part of your community. And you're going to see the similar names and similar faces over and over and over again, no matter what beautiful offers you create and all the new ways that are going to come up to help these people. They're going to come back because they trust you. Okay. And even if they're in a stage where they're like, okay, maybe not right now, they'll still be your cheerleaders. And the biggest case in point is right here on this live call. So many familiar faces who have been around in my world for, I don't know, 6 years, 8 years, as long as I've been doing this. So many of you guys like Tina, Preeti, Sakshi, Shimona, like so many of you guys, Estelle, all of you guys have been here for so long. Swati, I think you've been here for a very long time as well. Vitika, oh my gosh, like all of you guys have been here for so long. Right? The proof is in the pudding. Okay. How are you feeling so far? Let me know. So let's recap. All right. Before I recap everything, what has been your biggest breakthrough? I would love for you to drop it to the chat and let me know. Your transformational learning experience, your course curriculum gets much simpler when you focus on or when you start with the student evolution. Then you build your learning journey with the right kind of container. And then you bake in student completion and results into your curriculum. Okay. Now you might be wondering, but how exactly, Zupti, do I go from a great course curriculum that I have to a successful launch with paid students? AKA, how do I sell my online courses like you have done over the past few years? You need to get these other two crucial elements set up once and for all in your business so that you can come up with more course ideas and have different kinds of curriculum, right? Because remember, I told you a successful art course that creates a sustainable income stream apart from your curriculum, the mid part that we just covered in this workshop, you also need an irresistible offer that's packaged in the right way that motivates your people to buy this. They're just going to be like, oh my God, I'm throwing my wallet at you. Just take my money and give me the thing. I need this so badly right now. Okay. That's what an irresistible offer makes the right kind of people feel that I just need to take action on this. You also need a predictable sales system. This means all the backend things from when your student clicks on your sales page, reads everything, goes to the checkout, and then they get a thank you page, the welcome sequence, from your course. How does that get automated? All these backend systems, like your course platform itself, the portal, everything, you need all of those things so that you can use this launch system that repeatedly brings in enrollments more and more as you continue to launch. Okay. And that's exactly what we're getting it done with you in just 150 days in Creative Course Launchpad with our one-on-one support. So both me and Nahush are going to be there to support you. And in this 5-month program, what's included is a personalized offer and sales strategy. Personalized because you, as an artist, where you are in your particular stage of business, you're very different from, let's say, Katie, who is getting viral audience and viral reels, and her strategy needs to be completely different. But maybe you're starting from a zero email list and you have less than 3,000 followers on Instagram, and you're majorly just present on Facebook and not even on Instagram. Or maybe your thing is YouTube. So your strategy needs to be different. So you need personalized help with your specific unique art business and your unique energy as well in how you like to support your students. And you need a sales strategy that is customized for your stuff. You will also get a full tech setup for your funnel. Your funnel is basically the system that takes people from, when they discover you to then trust you, to then pay you, and then come and rave about you after they've gone through your course. You will also get a personalized launch game plan. So how one artist launches with us in the 150 days is very different from another artist, right? They have different strategies and we craft it for them. You will also get plug and play email templates because I know my love. Writing an email to your list feels like a behemoth task, and you're like, I literally don't know where to begin. Maybe you've also tried to utilize tools like ChatGPT to help yourself write it, but then like it spits out this like whatever thing, and it's like so cringe, and you know you can't send that to your people. So launch emails and sales emails have specific they're catering to a specific buyer psychology, and they move your buyers from one stage to the next until they pull out their wallet and pay you. So you're going to get all those plug and play email templates. You will also get sales page and marketing feedback. So I'll be there. You'll have my eyes on all of your sales page copy, how you're marketing on Instagram, what holes are you leaving when you're showing up, what do you need to tweak, how do you need to actually be you yourself, your authentic self and your authentic energy. You're gonna get my feedback on that. You will also get, again, the biggest thing that you probably need right now, which is accountability and one-on-one text and voice support, so that you can be in my DMs, you get direct access to my DMs, and you can be asking me questions like, Shruti, the student said this, this person wants to buy my course, but they're like throwing this weird objection. I don't know what to say to them. Or you might be like, I'm about to open the doors to my course and I'm terrified and I don't really want to do it. I just want to crawl back into my blanket and just not even touch. I don't want to show up. And you need my help at that moment to help you move beyond that fear, right? Or you can also be in our DMs being like, no, my payment system is breaking down. I've opened the doors to my course and this thing is not working. Can you please help me fix it? This has happened with so many of my artist clients, and we're going to be there right there in that moment to help you and support you. You will also get money mindset coaching because I'm going to take you from, can I charge this much for my online course, to watch me charge this much. Okay. Now, all you need to do to explore working with us one-on-one, I've opened 10 free consult calls. All right. All you need to do is apply it with the link that my team is dropping in the chat right now. So just click on the link, apply, fill the form that you're going to see once you select a date and time that works for you, because I need to know what's happening in your business, right? Because what's going to happen on this call is I'm going to diagnose your business and I'm going to see exactly what's happening. Where are your leaking holes? Where are your systems not set up? And if I think that you're the right fit for it, then I will show you how Creative Course Launchpad, we can install it in your business and how you can get your paid students in less than 60 days. Okay, so go ahead and apply for your free consult call. For June, I have two special perks for you. So if you book your call before June 30th, then you want, and if we're the right fit, and then you end up enrolling in Creative Course Launchpad, then you get a free content marketing audit. This is worth $750. This is where I look at everything that your audience sees across all platforms, not just Instagram. If you're on YouTube, I'm going to take a look at your YouTube. I'm going to see how everything is connected. And I'm going to tell you why your marketing is not working right now and the specific ways to fix it, so that you're speaking with your ideal student and you're guiding them with buyer psychology to come and purchase your course. You will also get free 5-figure launch emails. So I'm going to share with you all of my past launch emails that have made me like $14,000 in just one launch. It's crazy, right? And I was just selling a $37 per month membership. So I'm going to share with you my launch emails. So you'll see all how these top performing emails feel so good because they feel like art. Okay. They feel like an artist is speaking with you, another artist, and they sell like crazy. You're going to get all of this stuff. So all you have to do is book your free consult call. Let's chat face to face to map out your course launch plan, right? Now, this is not for everybody. This is only for artists, mid-career artists who want to, you want to launch your signature art course with total confidence that you're following a strategic, focused, and effective path towards funding your creative life and to manifest and achieve all of your beautiful dreams that you have for your life. This is not just about launching a course. even though we are sharing how to, launch your course and we're going to support you through it, but it is going to transform your entire identity and you're going to become the person who's already successful, who already has what she wants. Now, you might be thinking, how do I know that this is going to work for me? So let me share with you real artist stories about that who are getting real results with us. This is Katie, who teaches meditative watercolors. Within 5 weeks of working with us, she got 96 founders. Then within just 4 months, I think she had more than 200 students signed up in her course. Then we helped her launch her membership, where she got 50 people signing up for her membership right away before she even filmed a single class. And all of that has already added over $35,000 to her art business. And before she started working with us, her income had plateaued in her art business and she wasn't really getting any momentum, even though she was teaching monthly Zoom classes, teaching the same thing that she's teaching in her course. It just was not scalable. Moniza, the amazing bookbinder, my friend. So many of you might already know Moniza. But when she worked with me, within just 3 months, we launched her founder's offer for her, the Art of Bookbinding course that I mentioned before. When she was with me, she got 42 students in her course, 42 founders. And then she continued to sell that course as she created her course, as she filmed her course one by one. And she ended up closing her founder's offer that added $55,000 to her art business. And this is when she was healing from burnout, you guys. That's insane. Kristen, she's also an amazing watercolor artist, originally from the US. Now she's in Thailand. She launched her art retreat with us with zero email list, like around 2,000 followers, I think she had when she came to me. And a retreat is a high ticket item. It costs like $2,500, $3,000, right? You know how much retreats cost. And yet she still found people to sign up for her retreat and brought in around $9,800 in her art business. Julia, who is also a dear friend and a client of mine in CCL, she came to me with 1,500 followers on Instagram, maybe 58 people on her email list, but they were all people from markets who wanted to buy her art and not really her like teaching stuff. And she had never taught any tutorials also on Instagram. She had no teaching content. She had never positioned herself as an art teacher. She still got 10 students in her course. That's insane. 10 lives being changed already. This is Margaret from Sacramento. She already had a watercolor course. She already had like 30 students in it, but she kind of had given up on it because she's like, I don't even know how to scale this thing. Like the systems are not making any sense. Every time I go into the back end, it is super, super overwhelming for me. So she put all this energy into filming and creating her course curriculum and everything, and she just benched the course. And I don't want that to happen for you. You're going to come up with an amazing course curriculum today. Maybe you can try to launch it by yourself and you get a few students, but I don't want you to get so overwhelmed by like patchy systems that don't really connect well with each other, that are a nightmare, that give a horrible experience to your people. And then you just sort of like bench all of that effort and you don't continue to sell it. That would be such a waste of your time and energy. So she came to us. She was so afraid to increase her price. With that money mindset coaching that I told you about, she confidently raised her price, right? She even closed down her course to improve her course curriculum, but she still ended up getting 20 students with almost no Instagram presence. She has a few hundred people on her Facebook page, and she had around, I think, less than 1,000 people on her YouTube when she came to us. But because of learning how to teach the right things for her audience, she blew up on YouTube and she went a little viral and she got like thousands of YouTube subscribers. All of this actually converted to sales and she had it over $5,000. Preeti, who is over here right now, I hope she's still here. But oh my God, Preeti came to me with a big vision. She was like already confident in her vision. She knew she was meant for more. She knew she was meant to lead people. She was also successfully, organizing her Paint Your Style challenge. If you know about this challenge, let me know in the comments. But she came to me with zero email list. Again, like no real sales system, no predictable sales system, no offer. She had a beautiful watercolor seascapes idea, but no offer. It wasn't packaged in a way that people could actually buy it, right? She worked with us for 4 months. And she came to me with, for sure, less than 2,500 followers. Preeti, you can like vouch for the numbers over here. Um, but she blew up. She started getting, once she started putting the right educational marketing content, her following started growing, her email list started growing, and she got 9 students in her Seascapes course. Like, how amazing is this? So, this one on one customized mentorship that we do not give you strategies pretending that you have like a gigantic viral audience and just give you like a few course video lessons or something. This is not, you guys, I'm telling you, this is not a video course. This is one on one mentorship. Okay. Every artist from every imaginable background has gotten real results when they work with us in Creative Course Launchpad. So, in order for you to succeed as an art teacher, you do not need a giant viral audience to get started and get your first paying students. You don't need the perfect tech skills. I know how much artists break their head just trying to choose between Kajabi and Podia and Thinkific and Teachable and all of these things, and they just don't set the thing up. I know how daunting it is because I can't do it. Like, the only reason this happens in my business is because the amazing tech wizard husband that I have, he gets it all done and he is going to hold your hand and show you how to get it done in a very, very easy way. You also do not need to sell in a bro marketing energy or like a car salesman. You need to sell like an artist. As artists, it is so much easier to sell because you're going to have heart and authenticity and a real intention to change people's lives. And I'm going to show you how to bring all of that out in your marketing copy, in your emails, in your sales page copy, and all of this stuff. You also don't need 200 video lessons for a successful course. What you do need though is you need an offer clarity. How much is it going to charge? What are the bonuses? What are the discounts? All of this stuff. What's the package? And you need to learn how to position it to your right kind of people, to your ideal students. You also need the sales systems. I'm sorry, if you don't have the sales systems, no matter what you're doing in your business, then you don't really have a business. You just have an expensive hobby. I know this is not the nicest thing to hear, but I'm here as your teacher. And as a teacher, you need to hear some of the hard things sometimes to really understand what really is going on in your business. Okay. You also need your learning management system platform. An LMS platform is basically like Kajabi, Podia, Thinkific. We actually moved everything from Kajabi, which was costing us so much, and we moved it to system.io. This is what we recommend to people. As long as they already have something else that's more effective, then we're like, don't use system, don't use Kajabi, use this, right? So now is your tech strategist. He'll tell you exactly which platforms to use, but without spending thousands and thousands of dollars on tools that you don't even need at this particular stage in your business. And you do need your automations. You need an automated way where people discover you on social media, then they jump onto your email list where they get nurtured, then from there, they need to go in an automated way to your sales page, your website, your learning management system. Once they pay, there needs to be an automation where they automatically get access to the course portal, to their login information, their community and everything. All of these things need to be automated. You cannot run this thing manually. For the love of God, for your own brand's sake, do not create a course, dump it in a Google Drive or upload it as like private YouTube videos and send that as a course, video course for your students. You don't really want to set that reputation for your people because it's not going to justify the price that you're going to be charging for them. Okay. You also need marketing momentum. You need to start sharing your views, your stories, your education, but with the right calls to action so that it actually converts into sales on the back end. And of course, you need the courage to start imperfectly, even if you're not ready. All of these amazing artists that you saw their stories, they were not fully ready to begin, but they knew that they're never going to be ready. You will never be ready for anything, but they just knew that if they had the right support, they would be able to do the challenging work that is needed to make this thing a success. It's not an easy thing to make an online course successful. It's quite a bit of work up front. The sooner you start and you get this work, this foundational setting up work done, you can then go on to thrive and teach whatever you want and sell whatever you want in your business. Okay. So the point is, your art teaching changes people's lives. You really need to accept it. You really need to see the value of your value. You are guiding a whole society that is rebelling against AI, that is rebelling against algorithms, that's rebelling against screens. Tell me that you're seeing this, drop into the chat and let me know if you're seeing this shift in culture where people are going towards analog. People are coming out in droves and they're like, for the love of God, get me away from, like algorithms and stuff and get me doing something with my hands. Now is the time to tap into this. This is like the post 2020 boom, like all of us, like thank God I launched my membership in 2020 because people were stuck in home. They had a lot of like expendable income and they just really just wanted to learn something. I didn't know it that then. I wasn't as savvy as I am now to observe trends and stuff. Um, but I did it because of dire circumstances, right? I literally didn't have a choice. The pandemic shut down my Blue Pine Arts handmade part of the business. What are you going to do when you're the artist and it's on your shoulders to lead the team and to also support yourself and your husband and your two cute little cat babies that only demand the best food and lots of toys? What are you going to do? You're gonna make it work, right? But now, 2026 onwards, oh my God, you're saying, right? 100%. Estella is saying, definitely seeing the shift towards analog. People are definitely talking about gathering in real life and making things for themselves, like gardening and everything. Yes, they're doing that. But you bet your bottom dollar, they're also investing in online courses and online friends and communities that are going to help them get there. I just want to say that I know that people are wanting more in real life stuff, and there are a lot of people who are going to tell you that online courses are dead. People don't really want to, like, learn from screens. People are hating all screens, and they just don't want to be part of online groups and things like that. This could not be farther away from the truth. This is just pure bullshit. Let me tell you a real story. Yesterday, at my citizenship ceremony, we had a few members of our Canadian found family who drove in from different towns from hundreds of kilometers to be with us in downtown Calgary to support us and to witness us get our citizenship certificate and be a part of this pivotal, momentous like moment of our life. Okay. Every single one of these people, these in real life people who stood by us, were people, friends that I made in one of my mentors' course back when I was in India. Every single one of them. There was not a single person who we just happened to make friends in like in real life event and who just came for this. So don't let other people tell you that online friendships and online relationships are just surface level. It's the real life stuff that counts. This is major bullshit. You can't tell me that is true while you're also here in the chat. Many of you are my friends as well, apart from being my clients and my students and everything. We have a really lovely and sweet relationship. You can't tell me that this is not real, that this is not significant. Okay. People are still looking for this, and you can be the one who gives this to people. So, your art teaching changes lives. Your art teaching is going to bring like two future best friends together, and they're going to make plans to meet in real life. This has happened in my community. This has happened with two of my clients as well who met with each other. You can be the person who facilitates all of that. You can be the voice who actually contributes to saving our humanity by bringing people back to analog creative skills. You guys, being creative is the most human thing about us. Right now, the big billionaires and technocrats are doing everything in their power to snatch it from us. And you could be leading the rebellion against it. And for doing that, you deserve to be paid well for it. You need to learn, if you want to learn how to change people's lives, you need to learn how to sell to them. You need to learn how to get them past their excuses to taking courageous action so that they can actually achieve their dreams. And you can be the person to do it. All right. So thank you so much for being a part of this workshop. I would love for you to drop into the chat, email me, DM me, whatever, and tell me what was your biggest breakthrough. Okay. I'm waiting for you. All right. Thank you so much for joining. I hope you got a lot out of this workshop. You're going to get the replay and the workbook tomorrow. But for now, I do have a couple of minutes. I'll take a look at your questions, but I would love to know what was your biggest breakthrough? What did you feel like you learned that hasn't been taught to you before? Let me know. Estella is saying, thanks. This has been great information. I love that. Ishwari saying, I'm glad that I had that one breakthrough free call with Trupti, right? Oh my goodness. Ishwari got so much clarity and she got to see beyond all of those limiting beliefs and fears that were keeping her trapped and playing small into stepping into something bigger and claim, I want to teach and reach more people. I want to help more people. So I'm going to do whatever it takes to do that. And she did it. Okay. She did that. Tina is saying no one ever acknowledges that life is different and hard while trying to be accountable to do your business. Exactly. No one acknowledges that. But at the same time, one of the most valuable things my clients learn is life is never going to stop lifing. Challenging things happen. My clients deal with little children to even teenage children who are like transitioning into, their college careers and all of this stuff. Many of my clients are in the sandwich generation who are dealing with aging parents with dementia and everything. And it's really, really hard for them because they're the caretakers for their kids as well as their parents. I think more than 50% of my clients have full-time jobs. They have full-time jobs. There's a cute little kid coming into the frame over here. Swati, I saw that. That was very sweet.
So I have been following you since I was expecting him. He's 8.5 now. I started following you when I was like just going to mat leave. Before that, right?
Unbelievable. Oh my goodness. I'm getting chills. Thank you so much for sharing that, Swati. Wow. Oh my God. I was not expecting that. 8.5 years? Jeez. Oh my God. Now I'm starting to feel how old I have become, I think. Oh my goodness. But yes, so what I was saying is that life is not going to stop lifing. It is never going to be smooth. You're never going to reach that place where you're like, oh, everything is so sorted in my life right now. Now I'm going to go all in my business. Okay. My most successful clients are able to hold both things. And that is because you just have to expand your capacity for it. True story. I'm only going to share this with you right now because you're live. My Noki, the little rascal child that I love so much with my heart, she has ran away from home last night. Literally after a citizenship ceremony, we're like on a high, and then she's like, "Let's bring mommy and daddy's high down a little bit, and let me just like sort of go and just for the first time ever, I'm gonna go on a daring adventure." And she's gone, and I've been up at 12:30, then once at 3:30 in the night, and this morning I've been roaming around the neighborhood, and I am a little tensed. I'm not gonna lie. But at the same time, I know that you guys have signed up for this. I know that I need to compartmentalize myself and my identity and hold all these things in one day so that I'm able to serve you. After this, I'm gonna go look for her again. Right? So you're gonna have to find a way to show up in your business. And if you haven't found a way to do that already without any accountability, that's not going to magically change overnight. This is why just 5 months of accountability where your habits, your behavior, and your identity get solidified, then you're golden. So all you got to do is just book that free consult call. Literally, what do you have to lose by booking a free call with me? Just go ahead and fill that application. I'll take a look through it. Only if I feel like you even need our help, then I will take you on the call. Sometimes, when artists come to us who are like too beginner, I don't want you to categorize yourself as too beginner, by the way. I need to look at your information to be able to see that. But you don't need our one-on-one support at this point. You need to probably just set up another foundation. But some of you do need it. The welcome module for world-class onboarding, student onboarding. this is what you want to include in your onboarding. In the very first module, you want to label it start here. Don't title it welcome. Okay. People are just going to skip past that. They're going to be like, oh, whatever, this is just going to be some whatever fluffy videos. And I just want to jump straight into the info. They're going to do that. So label it start here. And I want to show you what my onboarding sequence looks like for painting large watercolors. First, you want to have a little video note. Okay, film yourself on camera. And in this, just be yourself. You don't need to be like super polished or whatever. But what you want to do is you want to reaffirm the decision that they're in the right place. They made the right call to join this course. And by the end of this course, you're going to walk away with 5 big paintings. Like you want to give them that big promise, reiterate it for them, tell them what to expect, give them like a little mindset pep talk, and ask them to go through all of the onboarding stuff. So you are going to tell them in the video, go ahead and join the Facebook community, submit your onboarding survey, blah, 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 all this. You're going to actually reiterate it in your video, and you're going to tell them that. People need to hear this stuff multiple times. Trust me, there's something about when people join a new course, it's like all their common sense, I think, just sort of like flies out of their head and they just run around like chickens with their heads cut off. You need to say the simplest shit over and over again. Even with this workshop, people have kept asking me, do you give replays? I've literally repeated that word in my many chat stuff, in my emails, in my voice notes, everywhere I've said you're gonna get the replay and the workbook, and I still get the question, do you get replays? I'm not saying that the people who are asking me are stupid. I'm just saying that's just how our minds work these days with the insane amount of information overwhelm that we're dealing with. Okay. Next, if you're giving a community, not every one of you needs to give a community. I'm saying, okay, again, if you book a free consult call, I'll share with you if you even need a community or not, because some people just don't enjoy it. One of my clients, she's doing a membership and she's like, Trupti, community management just takes a lot of energy. I'm too much of an introvert. I do want to do the live Q&A, the Q&A stuff, and I want to support them. I just don't want to also support them in a community. I just will not be able to keep up with it. So we devised another way where she can just collect the questions and pre-record all of the answers and just upload it to the course portal. Okay. But if you have a community, get them join it right away. This, I think, more after your welcome note, your onboarding survey is the second most important thing to be included in your welcome module. So you want to create a survey. When my artist, when you join CCL and you start working with me, I'll give you the exact questions to put in your onboarding survey, because you need to design. Question design is a skill, by the way. Don't just ask people, why have you joined? What do you want to learn? These are all like very poor questions that are not going to pull specificity. You need specific questions like, what was the one thing that made you decide to join painting large watercolors? They will tell you this. Okay, steal this question. What was the one thing that made you decide to join my course? These people will give you the exact words that you can use in your marketing and on your sales page. They'll say things like, in my onboarding survey for painting large watercolors, people have said that I just knew that painting large is my next natural step. I wanted to submit my paintings to this watercolor competition, and I need to submit a half sheet, 15 by 22 inches, and I just don't know how to do that. So then you take these exact words, put it on your sales page, put it in your workshop, say it in your marketing, say it on your Instagram stories, because you're now mirroring their words. And one of the best sales strategies is people will join when you mirror their exact words and not your words that are in your head about why your course topic is so important for them to learn. Okay, you need their words. So link your onboarding survey. Definitely follow up with them once they join, even, with your emails. Follow up. You need to have them fill this. I also have a note on your homework and commitment, because I do not want my courses to just decorate a digital shelf in someone else's thing. No, I want people to understand that when you learn with me, you need to do the homework. Maybe it's the Indian teacher in me, dude. I don't know what it is, but this is really good because this has like worked really well for me. Okay, please do not come to me. Do not even like book the consult call trying to join Creative Course Launchpad if you're not committed to doing the work. I am sorry. I am not going to soften the work that is needed for you to achieve mastery. And I'm very forthright about this. And this is what sets me apart, right? This is what sets me apart because then it's only the serious people who are wanting actual results come to me. I guide them to get the results and we're golden, right? They're golden, I'm golden, everything is freaking sustainable. So I give them this. I've written like a letter to people saying that this is what you've committed to, so don't just sleep on this. And it's actually worked for my students. Supplies list. Oh my goodness. Have a separate supplies list linked with clickable links. This is going to be the top questions that people are going to have once they join. Okay. If you've collaborated with a brand and if you have an affiliate link, put all of that stuff in there and create, maybe even think of creating like a simple kit for people to begin with, because they're going to ask you for this. Even if you cover supplies in a separate foundational section, which I hope you do, it's always good to have like a separate little lesson just focused on supplies. Have a supplies list. And then lastly, you definitely want to guide them towards adding your email to their contacts because you don't want important course updates as well as future marketing emails to land in spam or promotions. It's just such a simple thing that so many people miss. And then that already starts creating leaks in your courses, right? So these are the main things that you need in your onboarding sequence. So you tell me, pretend that you have just signed up how to paint large, beautiful watercolor landscapes. Okay, you're overwhelmed already. You're already scared. It's a terrifying prospect to paint big watercolors. If you joined and you went through all of these things step by step, tiny, tiny, tiny steps, how would you feel? Preeti, thank you so much for vouching for CCL. Tina is saying, oh, hell yeah, doing everything manually is absolutely insane. It is. It is. You just simply won't be able to keep up with it. And if you're saying that you want more sales, if you're saying that you want hundreds of students to join your course, then you're going to need thousands of people on your email list. And you cannot sit here and tell me that, oh, I don't want to burn out, but still want to do everything manually. You need those automations, okay? Madhupriya is like, thanks for all the amazing info. Excited about the possibilities. Thank you so much for your sweet congratulations messages, you guys. Doris is saying, I love the confirmation that it's important to not overwhelm students with too much info. Also love the reminder to include nervous system. Love, love, love. Awesome. Swati, thank you. This is saying it's a gold mine of pertinent info. Yeah, values from beginner to advanced is so important. I love that. Mamta is like, this is so structured. I had these ideas in mind, but didn't know what goes where. You made my life so easy. Thank you. I'm just so happy. I love that, like the intention that I had with this workshop, it's like already landed in the way that I intended it. I love it. Vitika is like, it's given me so much clarity on what I actually need to define and write down before creating a course. I had lots of ideas in my head, but this helped me organize my thoughts and think about the student outcome first. The thing that most of you are not even realizing right now, or you're not taking into account, is your own overwhelm. Like, forget about student overwhelm now, right? What about like how overwhelmed you feel about the awesomeness and the bigness of your idea and like how to translate it into different things? This is as much for you and for your own nervous system regulation as it is for your students, right? Oh, thank you so much about Noki's stuff. Yeah, I'm intending that she comes back. I'm choosing to feel more relaxed because that's how I manifest these things. Yeah. Okay. Estella is saying in the education field, the onboarding survey is called needs assessment, and this data is so helpful for customizing the curriculum for students. Exactly. Not only do you get marketing gold, but your students are literally going to tell you what they want. And then how easy is it to just create a course, give people what they want? One thing you need to remember is you do not want to just work on a course idea that feels exciting to you without checking with your people that, hey, I'm thinking of doing this. Do you actually want this? Right? And many people will tell you, actually, you know what? I was looking for a more foundational thing. I was hoping that you would teach me this. And then you need to focus, like if you want sales, if you want personal fulfillment, that, I made a course, I finally did this, I love myself and all of this stuff, then for sure, create a course that you want to create. It's just going to be a long uphill battle getting students and enrollments for that. Okay. But if you want high sales and if you want to meet your people, most of your people where they are right now, then you want to create a course that they want. Okay. So drop in your questions, hit reply to emails. I know I've given you quite a lot to think about. It's going to take some time to marinate. Okay. So I want you to send me your questions, go through the workbook over the weekend as you work through this. Even when you watch the replay, more questions are going to come up. Please send them in so that I can address them in the live coaching. In the live coaching session, I'm going to prioritize the people who are coming live and asking me their questions on the spot, because I'm going to ask you follow-up questions. You're going to give me some nuance and I will give you personalized feedback for your course topic. After that, as I'll get to as many of the submitted questions as possible. All right. So I'm here for you guys. I hope to see some of you guys on the free consult calls, because it's always so lovely seeing amazing, amazing driven and hardworking and committed artists who are in a pursuit to create a beautiful business. I love business. I love, love, love business and strategies and sales as much as I love watercolors. It might be hard to believe, but I've come to learn that sales is service. Selling is service, marketing is service, doing that call to action is service. All right. When I'm inviting you to come in to create a course launchpad so we can help you fast track your course launch, get the fucking work done in 5 months, this is me being of higher service to you. And I would be in complete disservice to you if I do not tell you how awesome this is, if I don't tell you everything that you stand to gain by taking this one big, brave step, and if I don't invite you to the free consult call to see if this is even the right fit for you or not. Okay. So this is what I want for you to speak with that confidence that when you're inviting people, when you're selling, when you're marketing, you're in service. All right, my loves. Thank you so much for coming to this workshop. I adore you all. Thanks for sharing your thoughts. And I hope to see you on the live coaching session. Take care and make it a good day.